This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
Hello and welcome to episode 44 of Too Old to Game. I'm not filled with very much fear, but I am your host, Mark Weber. Dave Oster cannot join us tonight. He's a little busy, but I'm joined with the original man-child, Ricky Widmer.
What's up, guys?
You had a moment, you had a look on your face.
So before the podcast we started, I had said, now after this we had all hosted the podcast, and you were like, no, I think I hosted this one before. You did. Episode 6 you hosted.
There you go.
Where we talked about our parents crazy for hiring Fortnite coaches.
Oh, Fortnite coaches. I still love that idea. That's great. Today we're going to be talking about a few different things. We're going to talk about The Last of Us 2. Which is pretty exciting for the two people in this room. We'll also talk about Days Gone a little bit. But first, Ricky, I have a question for you.
Yes.
And I don't get it because we talked about it the last time I was here, which was the last episode.
Yeah.
About WoW Classic.
Okay.
And, and we were texting a little bit too, and I said, I know when I'm not going to see you guys because of the release date.
Which is September 27th, I think.
Which people are very mad that it's at the very end of summer. No, it's the end of August, I think.
It's August, September, because it's that and then Borderlands.
People are very mad. I think it's like 3 weeks before Borderlands. People are very mad that it's at the end of summer because they're like, no, I have to go back to school and stuff. And it's like, all right, whatever. That's not going to stop you.
Yeah.
It didn't stop you originally.
True.
But here's the thing. I don't really get it. As somebody who has barely played WoW, I've played WoW before, but barely. I don't get it because I'm like, it's just the original game.
Do you remember what expansion you jumped in on?
Probably I think it was before Pandaria.
Okay, so it was either Cataclysm or like Wrath of the Lich King?
Pretty sure it was Cataclysm.
So was it, the whole environment was different? Was there like a huge like chasm, like a dragon had bred?
Yes.
Yeah, that's Cataclysm. So before I give into this long tooth answer, patreon.com /Moseville podcast, because it's going to be a while until we get to that point.
Before anybody gets to say anything again.
Patreon.com /Moseville podcast. Support us.
Be on the show.
Be on the show. You can join Retro and Hubertus in our Discord channel for as low as $1. And you can get the MVP podcast. Me and Mark, or Mark and myself, I should say, talked Game of Thrones. So you can get that a month before everyone else. So here's kind of the crux of it. Where before the podcast, when we were kind of little talking about it, you're right. The first inkling is nostalgia. But the thing that for me, and this is why I am so excited to go back to WoW Classic, is number one, the difficulty was harder. Where nowadays, like, they have mainstreamed WoW so much to where it is completely different than what it used to be. Where you can step in, start a character from level 1, and basically leveling is not a chore. Leveling used to be a chore. Like what South Park did, where they kept killing boars, that wasn't a lie. Like, I could step into WoW today as a mage, pull about 5 or 6 things, AoE. Okay, I'm on to the next one. And the mana regen is also a lot different. Like, when I came back into WoW after my break, I was like, wait, I don't have to stop in between mobs. I don't have to drink, eat to get my health and mana back up. It's just you're constantly going. That's a part of it. Where back in the day, you fought 1 or 2. If you pulled 3, maybe 2 or 3 mobs, you were probably dead as a warrior. Let's be honest. Like, you were not surviving that encounter. And there were some of it where it's like, holy shit, I survived. All right, got to drink up to get my mana back up, got to eat some food, get my health back up before you go in. The other part of it is there was a social aspect to WoW that I think WoW doesn't have anymore. And it's because of back then, we didn't have the looking for group finder, where I can go into WoW now, load up looking for group, it'll randomize, find me a group, and boom, I'm in a dungeon. Doing about 20 minutes, rinse and repeat. This one was, you're looking in chat and looking at the looking for group chat thing of like, need a healer. Cool. Message that person. Dungeons took a little bit longer. I felt like guilds, there was more camaraderie in the game. Where like the guilds I was in back then, like I still remember, and this is kind of classic into the first expansion of Burning Crusade.
Yeah.
I will never forget Brethren of Swift Steel, or we called ourselves Boss. And that kind of like family that I had, where it's like you get online, it's like, hey, yo, Brunsta, what up? Oh, dude, how's it going? Oh, how was your day today? Oh, it was pretty stressful. Can't wait to be getting into some of these raids and stuff. Or if you're just questioning, like, hey, you guys want to go out and quest? Yeah, sure. There was just a social aspect of it, or just meeting new people and being like, hey, you guys want to run more dungeons? Yeah, sure. Let's 5-man these dungeons.
I think my thing, though, is do you really think that that's... So you're describing the feeling.
Yes.
Do you really think the feeling is going to be brought back? As somebody who is not in high school anymore.
I'm hoping. And the reason why is the last thing I was going to get into, which goes into that, is now everything is cross-server. So let's say, like, we're in a pocket of... This little pocket has 5 servers in it. You're on Bone Chewer, I'm on Aloon. And I'm just throwing out 2 random server names. These might not be in the same cluster. But like you and I are in the same cluster but on different servers. I might not see you in game if I'm just around Ironforge, but we can queue up for the same dungeons.
Yeah.
It didn't used to be like that. Like me, I was on Aloon, and the only people I could queue up with were the people on Aloon. So it gave you kind of like not just a camaraderie of like you're on the same server as me, but there was so much, like I remember checking the kind of guild rankings and being like, dude, like people would walk up and be like, hey man, that guild over there, like, oh, what was, Dave would know this answer. There was like the #1 guild on our server. It's like you saw that and you're like, dude, that's some status. Like I know what kind of raids you guys are running. Also, there wasn't, I think it's what, transmodding, where basically I can take a crappy gear and make it look like a real cool one.
Yeah.
You couldn't do that back then. So if you had a really fucking cool sword, you could walk around and show it off and be like, dude, I got this drop. Like, no one else has this because I fucking got it.
Yeah.
That kind of a thing. Will it be like that again now? We'll have to wait and see. But that's it for me, to where the thing it's like I tell Dave, and Dave and I have had this conversation. The thing I like about older WoW, and Burning Crusade is my favorite expansion. That was the first expansion after WoW Vanilla. The thing I loved about it is, for example, in Burning Crusade, there were about 6 tiers of raids.
Yeah.
Dave was up at about 5 or 6. He was in guilds that were going in that last raid because Dave was really hardcore. With me, I was more casual, go with the flow. I only got to that second raid. You knew where you stood, and you were either okay with it, or you dove in head first like Dave to get to the top. And it was kind of like a status thing of like everything wasn't just handed to you. You really had to try and work hard if you wanted that top gear, if you wanted to see the end raids. It's kind of like the question I asked with Cuphead, Johnny and I talked about before we had Too Old the Game, that I'll ask you. With Cuphead, the big thing is its difficulty. Do you think with a game, just by buying it, are you owed the ending? Or should I make it to where, hey, this is a tough game. If it's too hard for you and you don't see the end, that's on you for not being able to get there, not on me as the game creator.
I don't necessarily know that I think you're entitled to it, because I think you buy certain games for difficulty. You buy Cuphead or Dark Souls
knowing that it's difficult.
Yeah, because it's difficult. And if you're someone like me who's like, I don't have the time to be frustrated, I barely have time to play enough games as it is, I refuse to buy a game that's going to be that level of difficulty, because I don't have the time to be frustrated with a game.
Yeah.
I want to enjoy it. I am more likely to play on like that medium difficulty nowadays because I kind of want to feel like a badass. So I'm going to go out there and I'm going to feel like a badass if I want. So yeah, I don't necessarily know that you're entitled to it. I just kind of feel like with this, I feel like people are just going to get disappointed with it
You
because
don't
it's
think
not.
it's going to be as good as we're hyping it up
It can't
to
be. It can't be as good because so much of it is your memory and your emotion, and it's not just the things were more difficult and it was fun. It was I liked that, and your rose-colored glasses and everything. But I liked that feeling of being up late and knowing that I had school in 4 hours, but I'm just having such a great time playing this game that I can't put it down. Those type of things.
Or like Ricky, hey, it's summer, sophomore year of high school. Hey, Ricky, what's going? Whoa, it smells in here. Yeah, I haven't showered since Friday, and it's Sunday. Yeah. Not my proudest moment, but that actually happened.
You're also like, I haven't even left the room. That's my slot bucket over there.
Almost. It almost got to that point, Mark. Like you're sitting there laughing like all awkward cat. No, it almost got to that point. Not my proudest.
I believe it.
Not my proudest moment. That's my slot bucket. That's my spit barrel.
I believe it, but trust me on that one.
That's my Mountain Dew cans that I've already drank.
I just think that people are going to end up a little bit disappointed. Disappointed, I should say, in it. And, it is what it is.
Is it just something where nothing is going to be... Nothing is going to be as good as it was the first time.
Well, that and nothing's going to live up to the years and years of it in your head.
Kind of like Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah. It's just you have been replaying these memories nonstop in your head. It's not going to be that.
Yeah. For me, for me personally, the biggest thing I'm excited for, and I say this now before we start playing it, is basically I want that difficulty back up because I absolutely hate that it's like everyone can be on the same playing field. Where I was always something where I knew I wasn't the top raider, and I was fine with that. I was getting to I got to work my jam in Karazhan. I got to go to the next raid above that, which I believe was Gruul's Lair at the time. And it was basically like, those are my two jams until they started basically making it easier and easier on people so that you could get to other raids. But that's the thing I'm excited for, is the difficulty again that comes along with it, and possibly seeing raids that I didn't get to see, because at the time I came into it, we got to like 40 or 50 and then the new expansion came out. So like Molten Core, I think it's Black Rock Temple, like all these classic raids I never got to see because the first expansion was already out when I got to Endgame.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out if it's worthwhile or not. But I believe we got to talk a little bit about The Last of Us 2.
We do.
That's going to be an exciting game. That's a game I'll definitely play.
Especially you and I.
I love The Last of Us. I love it so much. I am very, very excited about this. You've got you had the thing pulled up. Basically, it comes up to just that they finished filming scenes.
Yeah,
and they're hiring kind of the last batch of people to finish stuff up.
They finished filming. There was a picture of the guy who plays Joel and the actress who plays why am I blanking on
Ellie?
the name? Ellie. They're kind of hugging each other, like happy. They've got like the dot stuff. The motion capture all over their face. There was also a leak from a basically retail leak that said October of 2019. But then there was also postings for jobs to finish up the game, like positions to finish up the game. So right now we're in limbo. Are we going to get it at the end of this year? Are we going to get it with the next gen in 2020? That's kind of what we're sitting waiting of. When the hell are we going to get Last of Us 2?
I don't know if I truly bought. I don't remember what my opinion was post E3. I don't know if I truly bought that it would be a 2019 game. I think
that was your take.
I still think that this will be a PlayStation 4 game. I don't think this is next gen. But I don't think it's going to happen in 2019. If they just finished up the scenes and we're basically halfway through the year, about a month away from being halfway through the year, there's a lot of stuff that still needs to happen. A lot of marketing, even once the game is finished, that still needs to happen. They got to test things out. And the original Last of Us got delayed quite a bit.
Development began in 2009, and the game didn't release until 2013.
Yeah, it's just I don't necessarily buy that it's going to happen for us. That this is going to come out in 2019, and that's okay. Just give me the first game was so damn good that I'm trusting you on this one, Naughty Dog. You can take as long as you want to give me that perfect game. I mean, I don't really think we even needed a second Last of Us. The first one was so damn good. But I'm going to take it. I'm not going to be upset about it. I just can't really buy that it's going to happen this year.
So if I'm looking the last time, so it took them, they announced that they were going to do Last of Us shortly after Uncharted 2 came out, and that was October of 2009. This year they announced Last of Us 2 December of 2016. So this December would be 3 years. If we're going the 3.5 that it took to get Last of Us 1, that would put us to like a June, July, probably a June like they did the first one, a June 2020 Last of Us date. And then by that time, if like it's perfect, because if around E3, if we get the announcement that, hey, next fall 2020 is when the next gens are going to come out, Last of Us could be one of those where it's like, hey, tail end of PS4 right into PlayStation 5. Or do you think in that situation, do you think because Last of Us is a PlayStation exclusive, do you think if, let's say they're like, hey, we're shooting for June 2020, and then PlayStation says, oh, PlayStation 5 will be ready fall of 2020, should they just hold it off for the release of PS5?
No, because they would have to redevelop it it's not just a,
True.
All right, just put it in. They would have to kind of unless they've already been working on that hardware. There's a lot more to it than that. I think that they very well are going to do what they did last time. This is the last blockbuster of PlayStation 4.
Literally, Last of Us, I just looked it up, was June. Last of Us came out. November 15th, we were getting our PlayStation 4s.
Yeah.
So, I mean, literally could be the same thing with Last of Us 2. I'm just hoping it's not one of those things where they try to rush it for 2019. If it's not ready by 2019, it's okay if it doesn't come out. I'd rather this take all the way until, let's say, June 2020 and be fucking amazing rather than it be, okay, we got to rush it to get 2019 and then my expectations not be met, because it's the thing that you've already brought up with Classic WoW.
Yeah.
I mentioned with Kingdom Hearts 3 of like, when you have a great game like this, and I'm not saying good game, Last of Us was a great game.
It was amazing.
When you have a game like that, the second one, you kind of almost have to be a little bit more careful with it, because if you don't hit on that one, it's so much easier to miss expectations, because now the bar is high. Last of Us, when it came out, I don't know about you, I didn't know much about it.
Oh, I knew
so
plenty.
I didn't know what to
so
expect.
Hyped.
And maybe that was better coming in, where now it's like, I know what to expect because I played Last of Us 1.
It met every expectation you could have possibly had.
Well, it was
amazing.
The one thing I want you to talk about is what you mentioned to me when I was talking to you about Days Gone a week ago. The one part of The Last of Us where you were like, basically, oh shit, and it actually got you on the edge of your seat.
Well, yeah,
as you were playing.
There's this moment in this game where you're in, I don't really remember where you're in, but you're in a building and you had to go into the basement. You had to leave Ellie, and you're all by yourself, and you go down. You have to turn on a generator because the power's off, and these things are attracted to noise. So you know, as soon as you turn on this generator, life sucks. You're gonna get basically killed. And there's a moment where I think I died the first time because I tried to fight. And then I was like, I can't fight this. I just had to run. So I did exactly that. I just ran all the way over, and like, you turn it on, it's just, they're everywhere. They're all over the place. It was still dark, and it was terrible. It was like, you know that you're going to die. They did such a great job of capturing those emotions. I remember the first time you run into the clickers, and you're just like, whoa, I gotta, like, there's like 3 of them or something like that.
At the time, you just gotta sneak past them.
Or you can try and kill them all. And very difficult to pull it off. What happened to a lot of people when they did that is they messed it up and they just ended up running around hoping for the best.
Yeah.
There's so many great moments of tension in that game, and of course there's the part of it with the real people as well, because that's always a thing. And I'm just gonna say zombies, whether they're infected, freakers, whatever you want to call them, they're zombies basically. There's always that, but the humans are the real fear, and in the game it was true.
Yeah,
it definitely was true. I'm very much looking forward to this game.
I will never forget just not the last scene, but one of the last things where it's like you have to go save Ellie.
Oh, it's so
and
great.
Joel just carrying her out of the building.
I still love that when you get in there and they just let you unleash that fury. Where some people were like with the doctors when they're operating on Ellie. People were like, "Oh, I really wish I didn't have to kill them," and I'm like, "No, I was killing every single one of them."
I barged through those doors and was like, doof, doof. And there was one where it's like you just take the melee, and like every time I hit the button, I felt like the
where you're like, no, those people were going to die.
Yeah,
if I had the option to kill them, they were dying,
and that's why to me, Last of Us was such a great game. Was because it made you care about the characters, especially Ellie. Like, as you're playing as Joel, you cared for Ellie and didn't want anything to happen to her.
She's your buddy.
And in this
She's
one,
your daughter.
In this one, I hope that they get that same emotion right, even with an older Ellie.
The hard thing is we still don't know if Joel's even in the game. Really,
we do.
Well, we know he's in the game, but like we don't know if he's like alive
memory
in the
or
game.
dead.
Is what I mean.
Yeah.
Is he going to be this memory in the back of her head that she sees when she's asleep, that she sees at the corner of her eye, because she's crazy or whatever now? Or is he going to actually be there? I'm kind of betting on he's going to actually be there, at least for a chunk of it. I don't know if he'll be in the whole game, but I think he will be there. But you got to have Ellie kind of on her own a little bit too. So I don't know if they do that through flashbacks or what. But yeah, they got to have something.
It's supposed to be a jump in time forward, right?
Yeah. Yep. And it's just the thing that makes you nervous, I think, is that it ended so well that you're like, okay, now you're going to start answering some questions that I don't know we need to ask. And I am all about epilogues. Epilogues are cool. I'm all about sequels and finding out what happens next. But every now and then you get to that point where you're like, but I'm happy with how it's done. Like, you did it so well. I don't really need you to maybe mess it up. So that makes me nervous. But, I'm of course going to be nervous about something that I think is an absolutely amazing game.
Yeah, because you obviously don't want...
I don't want it to get ruined.
And I don't want it to get ruined either. And that's the whole thing of where I am on the side of, hey, if you need to take a little bit of time to get it right, take the time, let it come out in 2020.
Yeah, exactly. And as long as it comes out this generation, I don't want to have to buy a PlayStation 5 to play this game.
Yeah.
I waited a whole year to buy the PlayStation 4. I think that was a good choice. There are plenty of amazing games on it. I mean, I got to play Persona 5, which is absolutely amazing. Persona 5... that's a system seller to me. I'm happy with just that. But there were plenty of amazing games that we don't need to just go through and list things. But the fact that I'll get to play Persona 5 Royal 2 on PlayStation 4, once again, makes it amazing. I'm really excited about that. One of the few times where I'll buy a game multiple times. I bought The Last of Us multiple times. I bought that for PlayStation 4 too.
To be honest, because I never bought it for PlayStation 4, after playing Days Gone, because I've beaten it, now all I've got to do is platinum it if I want to. I'm kind of getting the itch to basically... I almost went on the PlayStation Store today. I probably will when I get home and buy The Last of Us to play it again, because Days Gone has just gotten me in that Last of It. Like I mentioned to you when I was playing it, I'm like, holy shit, I'm getting like Last of Us vibes playing this game.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the inspiration for that game. Kind of obviously, in a lot of ways, things are kind of ripped straight from it. So I really hope it just comes out on this, because I still stand by the point that I don't, even though I said system seller for Persona 5, I don't really truly feel that I've gotten the full value out of this generation. I have not gotten everything out of this generation that I feel like I could.
What, PlayStation 4?
Yeah. Just this generation in general with the I guess Wii U technically counted as that generation.
I am happy
Not
with
Switch.
PlayStation 4.
I'm happy with it, but I don't feel like we're ready to move on to PlayStation 5.
I mean, the main thing with moving on to 5 is just minor tweaks in the hardware of everything.
But that does not warrant a full new console. Just give me the X or whatever.
Yeah,
PlayStation Pro.
I'm fine with my PlayStation Pro. I love my PlayStation Pro. But it's one of those where the game, I thought you were talking like we haven't had enough good games on the 4. That's what I thought you were getting.
We've had some great games.
Yeah.
But I don't think we've got, like, there's not a reason for this new console.
So you're saying there's no reason to get a new one?
Yeah.
Besides money grabbing.
Besides the fact that they're not going to make the games on the 4 eventually. You're going to have to do it. But, like, I don't want to spend another, $300, $400 on another console. I don't know. I just don't feel like there's really that much of a need. And I know that they're like, well, we can get up to like 8K or whatever on this. Like, yeah, but you're not going to, because nobody can play anything at that. Nobody even has 4K TVs.
Yeah.
So it's just, I just want this thing to come out on PlayStation 4. Because I'm an old man and I'm going to wait a while until I buy a PlayStation 5. I'll be happy with my Switch for a little bit. And The Last of Us 2, I hope.
Yep. I can't wait for it. I hope that it's everything that I want it to be, because
I hope so too.
Days Gone has just taken my expectations for it and pushed it up, because I absolutely loved it.
So how did you like Days Gone now that you're done with it?
So here's the question I want to ask you personally.
All right.
There's a part of me that's like, while I've been playing this game, I was like, God, I want Mark to play this game. But then there's another part of me that's like, I know Mark's a married man and Mark doesn't have much time to play games. And will Mark ever play this game? My question for you, because you're on this podcast with me.
I am on this podcast.
Would you rather me keep it to just a review, or do you care if I go into spoiler cast review? Because if you're gonna, I'm not saying like
I'm not concerned for myself. I'm not concerned for myself,
because that's the thing.
Unless you're gonna say this story is so mind blowing that you have to experience it.
That's what I'm gonna say.
You're gonna say it's such a good story that I have to experience it. All right, I'm gonna say just do it as a review. Then.
Okay.
Don't spoil. Just on the off chance that I do end up playing it.
So here's the thing with it is, because I've been looking at other reviews too. My thing is, right after I finish this, let's see, I think I got Twitter on my tablet to where I can pull it up, was right when I finished it, my first thought wasn't like, oh my God, this game is super amazing. Like, it wasn't like, oh my God, it's going to win so many awards at the Game Awards. But my first thought was, I am going to be so surprised. I said, just finished Days Gone.
Yeah.
I'll be shocked if it isn't nominated for anything at the Game Awards this year. Great game, relatable main character, great story. And the thing that it's obviously different than The Last of Us because it's more open world. And there are some tedious things, especially at the beginning, where early on, finding fuel for your bike just seems like a chore. But I'll be honest, and I'll spoil this part so people don't think like, oh my God, like, I don't want to do that. You get to encampments later, and it's basically you buy fuel from them with the credits. So later on, it's not a huge deal. To me, I'm honestly looking at the GameSpot review, and I cannot disagree with it more, where I'm just going to take their points and kind of add my own to them. They say that Deacon has no real character development, and the game is uncritical. That is far from the truth. In my sense of just the storyline with him and Sarah, which is his wife, of basically you believe she's dead, and following that storyline all the way through of how it plays out gets you in the feel. Like, it brought me back to Joel and Ellie.
Yeah.
Especially early on. And it's like just all this, you can tell that he loves her and just wants her to be okay. Then you also have that the relationship that he has with Boozer, his best friend, and what they kind of go through the game, which I will spoil this because I thought it throughout, and I thought it kind of hindered me of basically the whole time I kept sitting there thinking, he's going to die, he's going to die, he's going to die, he's going to die. Don't think he dies early on, because he doesn't die early on. That was a mistake on my part. But I just thought that with the crafting, the different ways to fight the enemies, because like you said, obviously noise attracts these things.
Yeah.
There was one part in this where there's these Nero camps, where basically how it goes is you turn on the power by, and this is where the repetitive part gets, but you're going to get repetitive with this, where every Nero camp is the same.
Yeah.
Where you find the gas, you put the gas in the generator, you turn it on. There'll be some that'll turn on, some that'll need you to fix it, some that'll need you to find a fuse. It's different for each one, but that's the general gist.
Yeah.
However, if you don't find every speaker, those speakers turn on when you push the power. And there was one where I hit power and I heard them blast. There were two off in the distance. And I went, fuck. Because what I did not realize, Mark, was in the train above me, guess what there was? A horde. So
Nice.
thousands of this, what seemed like thousands of them,
Yeah.
just start pouring out. To where I'm like, great, I have to get, it's called a Nero injector. You inject it into your system. Basically, it's like a needle.
Yeah.
And you can either boost your health, your stamina, or your focus, which is kind of like slowing down so you can aim at things easier.
Yeah.
But basically, that's the only thing that gets repetitive. But that's also the great part of having to deal with these hordes as well. And of course, they prep you for it. They don't just throw it at you. You get thrown the hordes way late in the game, which is nice. But you can encounter them early if you find them. And the Nero storyline is my absolute favorite. It's my favorite if you go past the main. So how they do it is you finish the main story, and then there's a couple storylines where it's like you'll look and you're like, I'm at 95%. Like, what else do I have to do with these?
Yeah.
Those are the ones where it's like, okay, like for example, O'Brien, who you're talking to with the Nero storyline, randomly while you're doing other things end game, he chimes in and goes, hey, meet me here. Boom. That finishes off that storyline. But
Yeah.
I loved it. Related to Deacon, got me in the feels with everything. The only negative I would say for it is that some of the stuff like clearing the infestations and Nero camps, like that stuff seems repetitive.
Yeah.
And the ending is kind of, although this is going to sound contradictive, but I don't mean it to. Although the ending hit me in the feels, it did seem like it kind of ended abruptly.
Yeah.
Like, the last part of it, I did want a little more out of it. I didn't get that I'll basically put it this way, because I'm trying not to spoil it for you.
Yeah.
You know that Joel thing we talked about with the doctors?
Yeah.
I wish I would have gotten that.
You wanted to kill some people.
I wish I would have gotten that, and I didn't get that. That satisfaction I did not get, but the end of it just hits you in the feels and makes you feel right, because I will say, it's a really good game. I'd say go play it. I am a proponent for it. I'm going to be surprised if it is not nominated for awards.
Yeah.
Although I wouldn't expect if it wins awards. If anything, it's going to win awards for its music. Because one of the things I did like that you will like is there's a camp called Iron Lake, and some of the collectibles, there's 5 of them. Blue question mark pops up. You walk over, guy picks up the guitar. First off, he's actually, like, obviously the hand just moves, the fingers don't, but he's actually picking the right strings, which I thought was pretty cool, where they actually showed him like hitting the right ones, where I'm looking at it going, okay, are these the right notes, or is it just random ones? No, it's the right ones for the songs. And also, there's parts where, like, you're traveling from one area to the other for the first time.
Yeah.
Totally cinematic as you're controlling and biking. But, like, the song that's playing, it kind of tries to get those emotions out of you. And if for anything, it will win because of its music and its themes with music. But I think it will also be a game that's nominated for stuff and just doesn't win. Also, I do like its skills, where it's got survival, range, and melee, and it's got some nice skill trees that you can pick also. I think I've gotten everything. Crafting is cool. Crafting is fun. You need it to beat some hordes.
Yeah. And those are the things...
Did I dance around the spoilers enough?
I feel like you probably did. And those are the kind of things that obviously reminded you of The Last of Us with the crafting and the survival part of it. Because that's the big thing that they said about The Last of Us is everything's going to be limited.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to find stuff. And, you're going to make something and you're going to use it and it's going to be done. And then you're like, shit, there's still a lot of these guys left. Now what? So, I think the thing that we're saying is we're excited about zombies.
Dude, I can't wait.
Whether they're freakers, infected, just crazy ass bitches, whatever you want to say, we're definitely excited. I really hope The Last of Us comes out this year.
The only thing I'm not excited for right now is, like, I finished it and then I looked up and it was basically like, all right, what's the next game that comes out? And like, I feel like right now we're kind of in a lull of like, for me it was Spider-Man into Assassin's Creed, into God of War, into Division 2, now into Days Gone, to where right now I'm like, what's next?
Yeah, summer's usually not that incredible for gaming.
Maybe I actually buy the show now.
You should. Show is great. My guy got traded from the O's. He's no longer an Oriole. He's now on, guess what? The Kansas City Royals, and it sucks.
Are you a position player?
I'm a third baseman.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's terrible.
I didn't know if you picked like actual hitter or pitcher.
I do have a pitcher. My guy, he's a hitter. He actually on the Kansas City Royals, he's actually the designated hitter.
Okay.
They don't want me to play third base, I guess.
Hey, sometimes that's better because then you don't have to do the...
You don't have to waste your time with, now I got to throw it to first.
I got to field this ball.
Yeah, which is never fun and exciting, but... Yeah, he's on a really bad team. The Orioles second season, we're actually doing pretty decent.
Okay.
Not amazing. I mean, they're, it's like second in the division.
But you don't care about the Orioles anymore.
No, because they got traded to the worst team in their division. And it doesn't even make sense. My player's really good. He's a really good power hitter. I'm like, why would you trade for me?
Were you actually in the MLB?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm like, why would you trade for me? Your team is bad. You're not ready for a power hitter.
What did the Orioles get for you? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't think it tells me that.
Mark's like, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't think it tells me that.
Okay.
I'm going to assume 1 million good prospects.
Yeah. Because I'm just so good.
I am really damn good. Just hit homers. That's what I'm all about. And yeah, I'm just like, why? It doesn't make sense for you to trade for me. You're not ready yet. It would have made sense if it was, like the Cubs or something. They're a team that's ready. Yeah. They, might need a little help, and they're good to go. Although they got power hitters for days.
They got power for days.
So
Baez, Schwarber, Bryant.
They're not worried about having another one, but you can never have too many. So with that being said, for your summer game, maybe some people will have some suggestions in the comment section.
I'm thinking Rage 2, but I'm not quite sure. I got to check
Rage
it out.
Is cool. So let us know down below for those comments on what Ricky should play this summer. I think we'll find you something nice. I think the viewers got some good options for us.
Doom Eternal's going to be good.
There you go. You can even give suggestions on this very podcast by being a patron at the $10 tier. That will get you your chance to be on this show. But just $1 gets you a whole extra podcast. It gets you on our Discord channel, or server, I should say. You can be a part of that conversation. And, of course, make sure to give us those reviews on things like iTunes, because that's what helps us get to more people and having them check out what I hope you think is a good show. Dave, I'm sure, will be back next week, and the fear will come back.
Like Dave always says, we'll catch him next time. When you're usually here, we'll catch you next. We'll catch you next time.
It'll happen one of these days. But like I said, do all the things, and we will see you next week for episode 45 of Too Old to Game.